Hello, it is Shayna Garcia, IFBB Bikini Pro, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I feel like I nearly stuffed that up by IFBB Bikini Pro. It's like a tongue twister. Well, we have just arrived at Cult Fitness. Now, normally I know that I'm inside the gym, but I thought that I would just show you my routine on my recovery day. Today is a Sunday, so Thursday and Sundays are my recovery days, and I primarily focus on my mobility and recovering, but I still like to stay active on my rest days. So today I am going to take you guys through some mobility stretches because I need to renew some of the stretches on here. And I also brought my yoga wheel with me, so I want to take you guys through what I do at home with my yoga wheel. And I highly suggest that you guys invest in one if you don't have any. And this is really good for just anyone that's trying to recover in their lower back. And the stretches I'm going to show you is going to help you with like your glutes, your hamstrings, and your hips. And it's not just for athletes. If you want the best performance as well, then these are going to be the key recovery moves for you. So first thing, I am going to show you guys my stack because, okay, don't judge me, but every time I get supplements, I stock up with 2 of everything because I like to keep half in my car and then half at home, but I like to be prepared for anything. Now, I did put this on my Instagram story this morning, but I normally take EvoBurn every morning, and we have officially started prep. So I am going to make sure that my routine is A100 every morning. But I normally start with my EvoBurn. What's with my freaking mouth today? It's like everything's a tongue twister. I normally start with EvoBurn. It's best used when you are performing in the gym, and then you'll enhance the substances that are in there. But then on my rest days, I use this. So this is called Liposide. Lipo-CD? Liposide IR. So this is pretty good, and I like my little caffeine kick in the morning. So I have had this already. So that was to start off my day. And now, right now, for this current moment, which I love, and I'm so excited to tell you guys that you guys can have hot chocolate on a daily basis. I tested this out, so it's recommended to have this with cold water, which most people have been having a cold water, but I once upon a time was having a collagen supplement, and I remember one of my clients actually told me that she would mix it with hot water and make a hot chocolate. So I thought I would try it with this particular supplement here because I never tried it with the Evogen brand before. And collagen doesn't affect it in any way if you put it in hot water or cold water. The substances are going to work just exactly the same, because there are some I know supplements that if you put it in hot water or cold water, if you don't mix it with anything at all, it's not going to have the same effects. You will still get your full support with your hair, your skin, your nails, and your bones with this up here. Another good thing is that when you're in a deficit, it's just nice to have a little bit of a sweet treat, you know? So I currently have it right here, and it's so nice. So right now, I probably had, what did I have this morning? I've had rice cakes with a bit of nut butter, and I just had some egg whites. So I started off my day a little bit lighter. People don't know this, but like just a few days ago, I had a little bit of a situation. I had a drink that contained this kratom substance, and now like it's known for to be a focus drink. But for myself, I had it on empty stomach. So, you know, if you do have anything with kratom, don't have it on empty stomach. But I started feeling a little bit sick, and I did throw up a little bit a few days ago. So, because a lot of people were asking me a few days ago why I was super quiet on social media, I was passed out. I had this kratom drink, and I had it on empty stomach, and I started throwing up not too long after, even after I didn't really have much. I think I had like 200 calories that morning, and then it just kicked in. Didn't feel good. Took me like a couple days to recover and get back into the routine of eating again. My appetite isn't fully there, so that's why I'm just feeling it out with like all my recovery like supplements that I have. You know what? We're so blessed these days as well as a bodybuilder, because what we have now as bodybuilders never used to have. We've got so much support, and we've got supplements to help us when it comes to situations like this, and we literally have no excuses. So I don't have any excuses. I mean, it's been about 5 days since that happened, but I just started getting my appetite back, but it's not fully there yet. But anyways, I'm gonna continue sipping on this hot chocolate, and then we are going to get into Cult Fitness. We're gonna do some mobility, some stretches, bit of recovery, but I'm also gonna do some steps. But I'm gonna show you guys my cardio regime that I do on my rest day, because we're not here to burn out today. We're here to focus on recovery. So we are here in the posing room, and I thought, you know, there's no people around, this is the best place to do mobility. Now, normally I'll have like my bikini on me as well, and I'll do stretches and mobility and then pose at the same time, which we will take you through in the next few episodes. Next time when I have my bikini and we're also a little bit leaner, so I can show you guys the difference before and after. Now, mobility is one of those things that if you don't keep on top of, then your posing might get that tiny bit better, but this is like, I would say 50% of your mobility is also your stretching, not just practicing your posing. When you do, you can practice as much as you want, but if you're not on top of your mobility, you're gonna be restricted at a point when you do pose out. Especially for people that have tight glutes, lower backs, hamstrings, and hips, you need to be focusing on your mobility. So first, we're gonna focus on the back. And as you've noticed with like athletes, you'll never see them like this on stage. You'll never see athletes walking. If you walk like that on stage, it's unattractive. You always see this, okay? So that's the posture that we want. Now, this yoga wheel, which I just got from Walmart, by the way, it was like $20. I highly recommend investing in one of these because this will be your best friend on a daily basis. And so like I mentioned in the cart earlier, these mobility exercises and stretches that I give you, it's not just if you're a competitor. Like, this is good for your general spinal health as well. If you're not stretching out your back, you will be stiff at a point. And if you're performing at the gym, it's super important to keep on top of your muscle health. So recovery is always key. Now with the yoga wheel, I am literally just going to sit against it for now, and then make sure that it's in the middle of the back. And then I'm just gonna fully lie. So I'm gonna have my feet planted flat, knees bent, and I'm gonna put my hands behind my head, and I'm just gonna roll down slightly. And then I'm gonna keep my elbows in, but then when I lie back, I'm gonna bring it out. And so we're gonna do this for a good 30 to 45 seconds. Go according to your comfort. The goal for this is to be able to push a bit longer every time. So we're gonna make our way up first. So every time you roll, come back in, and then roll to your desired height, and then you're gonna stretch back again. So ideally you wanna go all the way up to your upper back, down to your lower back. There are different wheel sizes as well. This is like the medium wheel. I find this wheel like very easy to use, and it's not too hard, but it's also not too soft. So we're gonna come in, I'm gonna roll the opposite direction now. All right, so this is where it's gonna get a little bit harder. Now the closer your legs are to you, the harder it may feel, so you can push your legs, your feet further apart. I'm gonna lie back, so slowly. This is gonna help open everything up. Now when you wanna break, just squeeze back in and then roll back out again. Now you can keep your arms in. That does make it a little bit easier, less pressure that way. Now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make my way to my lower back. So it's pretty hard if you were to stretch right back for the lower back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna elevate my glutes up, and I'm gonna go a little bit lower, and I'm gonna scrunch in, and then I'm gonna drop the glutes down. So I don't lie all the way back. You can if you want to, if you've got the mobility for it. So I feel like I'm being hung upside down right now. All right, and then when you want to go to your lower back, that's where you elevate. You can just use your hands to help you come to your lower back. Your spinal cord does reach down here. And then roll back down again. Now when it comes to like the glutes and all of that, then you can go on a regular roller. This here is specifically just to come up and down the spinal cord. Elevating the glutes, if that helps you to move, you can do that too. Now the goal is pretty much being able to, some of you guys aren't gonna be able to stretch all the way back like so. And if you stop about here, that's fine. Again, the more you open up your elbows, the more you're opening up that stretch. So you can keep your elbows in if that helps you. So this will be the example of if you are restricted, keep your elbows in, and then you can just lie back. It'll stop at a certain point. And another thing is if you find it difficult staying in place, then you could do the open and the close. And that'll kind of train you up to being more flexible in the area that you want to stretch out. So that is the yoga wheel. Now you can do it with your legs too. And if you really want to go this high, put it on one butt cheek, roll down. Sometimes I do this with my hamstrings too. Just keep that elevated. Actually feels nice in the glute though, so you can go on the side. So literally how you treat like a normal roller, you know? Actually feels really good. Ooh, that feels nice. And then you could do the same with the other side too. Damn, that feels so good. Another thing that I didn't bring with me today, I normally use a trigger ball. So I would lie on the trigger ball and then I'll just like lie down and stay in one spot and kind of move my arms around. Next time I'll bring it in, but I wanted to focus on the yoga wheel. So that is your wheel. $20 guys from Walmart. They have these online and on Amazon too. So if you want the best stretch for your spinal cord, this also helps with realignment. Obviously it's not a chiropractor or a massage therapist, but it does help for that though. So if you grab one of those, the medium size, that's gonna be your perfect stretching friend. Okay, so we are going to move on to my stretches for glutes, hips, and hamstrings. Now these are the key stretches that you guys want to use for your poses, but it's also going to be helping you with your hamstring, your glute, and your hip strength overall, and the health of it too. Okay, so next we're going to do the pigeon stretch, but before I get into the mat, I actually like to warm up doing this on the chair first so that I can kind of pre-stretch my glutes. So the pigeon stretch is going to be good for your glutes as well as your hip rotators. That's going to help you with your glute separation, but also your back when you're doing your pose. So first, grab a chair, feet flat on the ground, and then we're gonna cross our feet over just above the knee. So normally just wanna align that point to your foot, and then you're just gonna bend over. So I kind of just get into this hug position, and you will feel your glute straight away. When you're lying on the ground, sometimes we do this hug thing, so you can't do that. This is like the same thing as when you're lying on the ground. But before I do my pigeon stretch, I personally like to be on the chair like this. I find it more easier. And because the pigeon stretch is it's a bit of an intense stretch, when your back leg has to be straight, this is a good little warm up before you do that. So you're gonna hold this for a good 30 to 60 seconds, and then we're gonna swap legs. So again, flat, cross leg over, align knee to foot, and then we're just gonna cross. Oh, this is the tighter side. Oof. See, I'm not bending over as much as on this side. So this is why you treat all muscles as individuals, because I can feel the tightness on this side compared to the other side. Ugh. Don't forget to breathe. Again, 30 to 60 seconds. So I would do this 3 times before we even get down to the ground for the pigeon stretch. And I'm gonna let go slowly, okay? Every time you come back from a stretch, you need to move slowly, because sometimes you could be sorry if you were to move fast. All right, so I'm gonna grab the mat, I'm gonna bring it back here, and then we're gonna get into the actual pigeon stretch. So we're gonna kneel down. I find it easier when you take your shoes off, just so then, because you are gonna bend down. Don't wanna get our face dirty. So knee up in front, and then we're gonna slowly cross this over. So pretty much how we had it crossed on the chair, but then the back leg is going to be flat. So you want your hips to be aligned. And then we're gonna come down. So that's gonna kind of be on a little bit of an angle. And then we're just gonna come down here. Like a plank position, sort of. But I feel that in my hip rotators already and my glutes. So you could be down here. Then you could also be up here. Again, 30 to 60 seconds. Damn, this feels really good right now. I feel like my face is serious right now. I'm feeling this stretch. This is one of my favorite stretches and one of the very first stretches that I used when I first started competing. never lets me down. Okay, so when you are about to come up from this position, what I normally do is I always have my hands flat, and then I slowly remove the leg in front of me, go back into the kneeling position, and then we're gonna swap legs. Whew, this is the tightest side. So I always start at the bottom because that feels a little bit less intense. Damn, I'm actually so tight. I'm really glad we're doing this video today, guys. Not gonna lie, like it's been a couple weeks since I've really been on top of my mobility, and mobility is something that you need to be on top of on a daily basis. So even in my check-ins, my last check-in, this is why I knew that my mobility was due, because my check-in photos, when it came to my posing, wasn't at its best. I'll show you guys after this stretch, but there's a certain positioning that you will notice if you're not on top of your mobility, what the body does, kind of does this lean over, but I'll show you guys in a minute. And I'm also letting like my glute drop down too. We're not like holding anything up, we're dropping it down. Okay, so again, slowly remove self. Now I'll quickly show you guys what I mean. It would have been easier with my heels, but if we could just face the mirror real quick. Sometimes when we're doing our poses, you'll see people try and push into their glute and they end up doing this. Now the reason why they do that is because of their hips, their glutes and hamstrings not being released enough. It's too tight and it restricts them from actually lifting their upper body up. This is actually like a really hard thing to do. To be able to get glute projection and then keep your shoulders aligned with that is the hardest thing to do. This is what's gonna help. Me just stretching just then has actually helped that, but when you're in your heels, it's also another story. It's so easy to, so if you ever see this, that is the reason why, because they haven't been doing their mobility enough. So all these stretches today is gonna prevent you from doing that. So obviously it's the combination of stretching plus the practicing of posing, but if you do both together, it is magic. But you gotta keep on top of it. Mobility is one of those things that like, if you let go of it, it's gonna go back to square one. It's not one of those things that you do it enough and then your body just gets used to it in the end and then you just don't need to do mobility. You need to keep on top of mobility. Your body is like a mold, right? And if you don't end up, like if you don't keep pushing that in place, it's just gonna soften up and it's gonna restrict itself again. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next stretch. Okay, so next we are going to do a bit of a hip hinge. So you guys know what a hip hinge is. I've repeated this multiple times in my episode. It's literally when you are doing this. So we are going to let's just have our hips in place. So feet can be about hip width apart. I like to slightly point my toes outwards to start. And then we're gonna slightly bend the knees. We're gonna push back and you're gonna get a good stretch in the hamstrings. So you can start there. You can just put your hands on your waist, to be honest. So it's like you're about to do a stiff-legged deadlift in a way. Think of it that way. And then we could bring your feet closer together, more of a challenge, straight. If you want to act like you're holding a barbell and that helps you, then totally go for it too. So you got the stiff-legged, but then you could also do the RDL. And I'll bring the glutes in a bit more. So different with this one here is my knees are a little bit more bent and then my bum is a little bit closer to the ground. While for the stiff-legged one, is where we push the knees back. So more glutes, more hamstrings. So I'm gonna go a little bit more glutes right now because my glutes is so tight at the moment. I'm not even trying, I'm just hanging. All right, we're gonna come back up from that. Now to bring ourselves to a challenge, we are gonna put one leg forward. One leg is gonna stay in place, and then we're gonna bend the knee and leave the other leg straight. And you can just lean on to this leg here. And that's gonna stretch the leg that's straight. That feels so good right now. Damn, I'm actually so tight today. And then if you want more of a challenge, then hinging backwards even more. That's gonna deepen that stretch there. 30 to 60 seconds, every stretch, guys. Again, do what you can handle. So I'm gonna swap legs now. We're gonna bring this back to where the other leg is. And then we're gonna put one foot forward. I feel like I'm getting a workout right now, to be honest. If you don't feel like you're working out, you ain't stretching enough. All right, so again, back leg is gonna do the bend. Knee, this stays straight. You can lean onto that back leg. So what I'm doing is that rather than putting my weight onto this here, I'm actually putting my weight more onto this leg here, and that's gonna deepen that stretch. But this is just, the bending is to also deepen the stretch of this leg. So you shouldn't really be feeling much on the leg that's bent. Okay. And then I just like to finish it off with hinging again. And then I just like to really bring my knees back, but then bend my bum too. I can just go down here. Slowly rise. Whew. I'm feeling this. Back to our collagen drink. I still got my hot chocolate, guys. I like sipping on my hot chocolate during mobility. All right, we are going to do the child's pose. This is going to help with your lower back, your waist, as well as your lats. So we're gonna come back to that kneeling position, but rather than going forward, we're gonna place our bumps down onto our, whatchamacall this? Back of calves? Is that what I call it? Back of calves? You're like, yeah, whatever. All right, so child's pose, but we're gonna do a side reach. So first, it's like you're swimming. I just slide forward like this. And then I like to push my bum down. Now, the more you reach forward, the more, that's where you get like that lat stretch. But I like to keep my bum down. And then another thing you can do is the side reach. Reach for the sides, get it a little bit deeper. Now this isn't normally included, but I like to include it. From here, we're gonna come up, and then we're gonna come flat. Put that right under the shoulders, and I'm gonna drop my hips down. So sometimes I pair abs with mobility, and so if I'm doing abs, this feels really good. To stretch the abs out a little bit more too, including the lower back. You just face opposite directions, so face to the right. And then face to the left. Alright, so then from here, I'm gonna bring my chin back to the center. We're gonna slowly come back. So it's really important to slowly do this just because your lower back is involved. And the thing about the lower back is like one little wrong twinge, you could hurt yourself. So we're gonna slowly come back. And then I'm gonna slowly reach forward and come back into that child pose. Actually got my legs split open this time. 30 to 60 seconds. Whew. Slowly come up. Voila! Child's pose with the reach. So yeah, first I did this, and then last I did that. All right, so next we're gonna do the deep squat hold. This is gonna help with opening up your hips and your pelvic control as well. So we're gonna come out to a little bit of a wider stance. So knees are out, feet are out, and I'm gonna come down, and I'm gonna put my elbows, in between. I'm just gonna come down and pray for a little bit. So I'm not dropping down like this. I'm making sure that I'm keeping that spinal cord straight still. You don't wanna be at a point where you are butt wicking down, because you can hurt your lower back like that. Now another thing I like to do as well is to open up. I push my knees out with my elbows, and it kind of helps the stretch of the hips there too. That's also going to help open up for the glutes. Now if you need a little bit of a break, I kind of just come up here and I come back down to it again. This is actually a real deep stretch, guys. All right, so that's 30 to 60. Again, break, just lift up. And then I'm gonna put my hands down. I'm just gonna drop. Whew. And now we are going to do what is called the cat-cow. I was just talking to Mari about this stretch before. I'm like, I really don't like how I look when I do it, but it's so beneficial. So the cat-cow is gonna help improve your spinal extension and your arch as well. So we're gonna come down to the knees again. Hands are gonna be under the shoulders. Now from here, like a cat, we're gonna roll the back upwards slowly. Now when you do these reps, you do have to do them pretty slow. Okay, nice and controlled. And then I'm gonna arch the back, so we're gonna pull our belly button down to the ground. We're gonna lift our head up at the same time. That's me teaching you guys slow. And then we're actually just gonna keep the reps controlled. And I like to do about 10 to 12 of these, about 2 or 3 times. This is just how I like to finish off. So 10 to 12 reps. And those are our stretches. I actually feel like I had a full workout, not gonna lie. When it comes to mobility, guys, you need to take it a lot more seriously because I feel like this is where a lot of athletes lack. They lack in their mobility and they just don't keep on top of it, and it's so easy to just like neglect this and just put it aside. But once you get this into your routine, which I promised myself every Thursday and Sunday, but I couldn't the other day because I didn't feel that great. But I always do dedicate my stretching at least once on a weekly basis. And I try my best to keep on top of like my back roll with the yoga wheel, which is why I have the yoga wheel at home, because nearly daily I'm actually lying on that thing. When it comes to like my hips, my glutes, I do get my weekly recovery with Jess, which you guys know. I get my massage done, and on top of that, I still do this. So I work around her too. The thing about massage as well, like it's gonna help with like your blood flow, it's gonna help release tension. But if you're not on top of your recovery mobility, it's like going back to square one again the week after. So you do need to work with it. Because a lot of people get massages done once or twice for like a month, and then they're like, it didn't work, but it's because you have to work with it. I always do have my chats with Jess, and we talk about how the stretches that I need to be doing outside of our massage sessions. And every time I go back to her, I've been getting better and better. So my general tight areas as a bikini athlete are my glutes, my hamstrings, my lower back, and my hips, which is why I have brought this here onto for you guys. Fit model and bikini are becoming such big divisions. So I think it's very important for you guys to make sure that you include detail like this, because it's a little detail that makes a difference for great athletes. When you see athletes posing so good on stage, it's not that they naturally had it in them, it's not that they're just good posers or they're good dancers or have rhythm. They are on top of all of the detail to make that detail look good on stage. When you bring things like this in, it'll make a huge difference, which is why I'm telling y'all, because I've had my seasons where I didn't keep on top of my mobility, and posing made a huge difference, which is why I do posing sessions with clients too now, because things like this is also what I teach on top of my classes. So I did do abs this morning at home. I like to do my abs, active rest days, so we're gonna do some steps in a minute, and my stretching. So that is pretty much what I do for my active rest day. So let's go onto the treadmill. We are here by the treadmill. Now you all know I love the Stairmaster more than anything, but on my rest days, I like to keep my levels a little bit lower. And like I said today, it's active rest day, but we're focusing on just working on a few steps rather than the actual burn of it. I just don't like to chill on my rest days, you know? So at the moment we've got 2,838 steps. Okay, and it is already like 1 o'clock. Now, I like to keep a minimum of 7 to 8K even on my rest days. I don't like to just be on 2,000 or 3,000. I really feel it in the body when I haven't moved as much, but to keep everything going, your digestion, good cardiovascular side, and keep on top of my activity, I just like to get some steps in. So I avoid the Stairmaster at all costs on a rest day, because the focus is just to get steps rather than the heart rate. And then I don't even do incline or anything because I got some flat feet and my shins get involved. So I actually bring my levels up to about 2 to start. And then I make sure that my hands are like literally doing its thing, you know, because I'm actually stepping. Sometimes when I'm on the Stairmaster and if I put my hands on the handle, it doesn't count. And I'm like, damn it. But steps are lower when you're on the Stairmaster, just because you're obviously not going at a fast pace. But because you're taking a step at a time, it's more intense when it comes to the more cardiovascular side. So I'll say that if I were to do the Stairmaster, 25 minutes worth of being on a 135 to 145 beats per minute would probably be me doing like an hour of steady stepping like this, if you want to make that equivalent. Which is why during my training days, like I really like to get the cardio side out of the way. And I get that done first thing in the morning. And then I eat, I fuel up, and then I do my weight session. And then I kind of just step it off for the rest of the day. So if I were to do the Stairmaster and then do my weights, I probably end off about 4, 5-ish K by the time I'm done with all of that. And then I just finish off my day with just doing a few more steps. So sometimes after my weight session, I'll come onto the treadmill, finish off because it has to be 7 to 8 K, that's just me. And I do have a walk pad at home as well. So right now we're on the 2. Now I'm gonna bring it up to about 2.6. My fine spot is about 2.6 to 2.7. A lot of people are on 3, but you know, your girl's a shouty. I'll be like this when I'm on like 3. It's so funny because when I first started doing steps, I thought we were running kilometers over here. So kilometers is a bit faster. By number, it's higher. So when I went on kilometers, normally I go about 5 or 5.5. And I remember I went on 5.5 and it was like, I was like running and everyone was like, what are you doing? That's miles. So now I know it's like a 2.6. So if this is kilometers, it'd be so slow. Like this is what kilometers would look like at a 2. So when people would tell me like they do cardio, I remember I used to watch YouTube videos of like my favorite Olympians and they'd be like, yeah, I'll be like on a 2.5, 4 incline. I'm like, damn, they don't do much at all. So when I came here, I realized like, miles, that makes sense. So it's basically equivalent to like my 5 or 6. But we are going to finish off with our steps. And now we're about, hold on, let's let that register real quick. All right, we're pretty much nearly just at 3K. So I'm gonna finish off probably about 5K and then I'm gonna let my, I'm gonna go until about 5K and then for the rest of the day I am gonna go to the shops and then that should finish off like my 2K for the day. Because it's still like 1 o'clock now, I've got a bit of time. I'm gonna be walking around a little bit. I think for this rest day I'll probably hit about 8 to 9K today because we did so well, you know? But yeah, that was pretty much my mobility day. Now there are other stretches. I do have another video where I stretch with bands and everything, but I want to take you through the mains of what I've been doing currently. So those are the main stretches. And I promise you guys, if you keep on top of that on your recovery days, you'll be so thankful by the time you guys get on stage. Keep on top of it weekly at least, and then try to bring the yoga wheel in daily. But thank you so much for watching that episode today, guys. Until next time.